Hello, and welcome to another episode of Philosophical Bones. I'm Nick.
I'm Keith.
Yeah, and this week we're on to question 22.
And off the bat, sorry for the hiatus.
Yeah, we had a lot going on in our lives.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to get our schedule back down again.
Right. Nerdy Bones will be out again before you guys know it. So.
Yeah. But yes, but we both were like, we don't have to prepare for anything. Let's just do another Philly Bones.
Yeah.
So question 22 is, and I want to preface it by saying, give this shout out to Jen.
Nice.
Jen gave me this question again. She gave me this. If you enjoyed the last one with toxic relationships, she gave me that question too. So, and she's like, she said to me last night, she's
going to be on the show at some point, right?
She is at some point. I want to get her on. But she's like, you guys need to start paying me if you're going to start using these all the time. I was like, well, if we'd made any money off these, I totally would.
As soon as we start making money, we can throw her some shade.
Yeah. So shade. What?
Well, that's actually an Irish term, like giving money to somebody's giving shade.
Because usually when you hear like, oh, I threw that person some shade.
That's actually kind of what blows my mind is like throwing shade. It's like the thing in like
it's an insult.
Well, in Ireland, it's you're throwing bills at somebody and it causes a shade. Like it's like
okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's a different way of making it rain.
Yeah. It's exactly making it rain. Is what it is. Yeah.
All right, cool. So the question this week is, like I said, question 22 is, what is the point of being in a relationship? And I'll say this by being, it could be either romantic or with like a family member or just a friend. Yeah. Because I want to leave it a little open for discussion. So take it away, man.
And when I like this question, you know me, dude. Like all you gotta do is ask me the question.
Yeah.
And fucking just
well, that's one thing I like is I can pose this question to you and you just take it and run with it, and then I can just start asking questions.
Well, like so, here's the big thing for me. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the romantic side of it.
All right.
Humans are, I think, genetically ingrained to want a counterpart.
Yeah, we need companionship as much as most people would like to think otherwise.
Well, we are what's called, like, I've been doing like psychological studies. We are what's called a communicative species.
Yeah,
and like that's we do not function like the worst thing that you can do to somebody is put them in
solitary confinement.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we crave interaction with other people. And like I was talking to you before about this book I've been reading called Unfuck Yourself. Check that shit out. Like the thing is all humans crave interaction with other people. They crave interaction with. They crave the reciprocation of what they put in. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I'm still staying on the relationship side of it. Like say if you're with somebody and you're putting in 90% and you're only getting back 10%, it makes you unhappy.
Yeah, because you want things to be equal.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to like kind of a this for that, or
well, you want to feel.
What is that? Quid pro quo?
Tit for tat.
Tit for tat.
For tat. And like,
well, no, actually,
it's both.
Quid pro quo means this for that.
Yeah. Like the big thing is I'll kind of like I won't get too personal, but like the big thing is like if you are putting a lot of your mental energy into something and you don't get that mental energy back, it makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
It makes you feel like shit.
When you put effort into into a relationship and you don't feel like it's being reciprocated back.
Right.
Yeah, you do feel like crap. You're like, well, why am I the person putting in all this effort?
And
they just don't seem like they give a shit.
Right, and the big thing is why continue if you're not happy? Which is like I said,
as I've said before on shows, is comfort.
Yeah.
People become comfortable in situations and they just don't know how to leave them.
Right. Well, and a lot of people, like one of the things that we were talking about before the show is a lot of people are in love with being in love. It's
very true.
Yeah, and it's not 100%. If like you might click with this person, you might like be two peas in a pod, but is it healthy?
Why not? Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on it all varies from relationship.
What I'm getting at is like the back and forth.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at is like if it's like even with like family relationships, like if you care about, let's say your brother, if you care about your brother and you do everything you can to like spend time with him, and they don't want to reciprocate.
Oh yeah, I actually have a good example of this. So I have a friend of mine. I actually haven't talked to her in probably at least 2 or 3 months. And she'll never hear this anyway, so fuck it. And she actually one reason I actually moved back down to here to Parts Unknown from Las Vegas actually was that I wanted to try to have a relationship with her.
Oh, okay.
And when I got back in town, like she was still married, but she would always like kind of be like, "I'm gonna leave this guy. I'm gonna leave this guy." It actually took him finally to be like, "I want a divorce," for her to finally leave. Because I don't even know like how much longer she would have stayed in that, even though she told me for like a few years how miserable she was. Anyway, so she always.
I wish you guys could have seen the look Nick just gave me. Go ahead.
So yeah, because it's a very long story with her, but that was you brought up the point of giving so much and not getting anything back, and when it came to her, I put so much effort into like making her feel special and listening to her, and being there for her, and anytime I try, out of like, say I try to be like, hey, let's hang out. I want to see you. I want to be around you. I want to spend time with you. Probably out of like 20, 30 plans I would make with her, she'd flake on like 29 of those.
That's rough, dude.
And that was the way it went with me. Was I put all this effort into a relationship with her, just even a friend relationship.
Right.
I'm not even going like romantic relationship, just a friend relationship. And she'd give me 1% back of the 99% I gave her,
dude.
And even to this day, like she would still do the same exact thing. Like,
well, some people.
She always just like she knew like I was always there for her if she needed something.
That's what you call being taken for granted.
Yeah, and no, totally.
Yeah.
And now like and I always kind of waited for my time to like, oh, maybe I can finally have a relationship with her. She's like single and all this and that, and then all of a sudden I know where she started dating some guy and now she's engaged, and I'm just like, okay. And I actually had a hard time with that at first, but now I'm like, I'm done with that. Like that is just I'm happy. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm happy for her. I still have a hard time if I look at a photo of like, her and her boyfriend or whatever, or her fiance. But at the same time, I'm like, I've got something better than that. That's the way I feel. Actually, that's the way I feel now, honestly. Without like, I'm not lying
like,
in the least bit. I just want to say I'm actually like totally fine, and I feel like I'm doing better. Like I'm better in another situation.
You're healthier.
Yeah. Or how even sounds weird saying another situation.
New situation.
A new well.
That's what it is. Everything's a situation.
Well, no, I feel better. Like, yeah, being in a situation where I'm like, when I'm around someone, I'm talking with someone who actually gives a shit about me.
Oh, dude, and like,
I think that's what I really want to say was like, it's nice to actually be around someone who gives a fuck about me, and it's like, yeah,
thank you for saying that.
Yeah, man. The girl I talked about, like I've known her since I was 18. I've probably known her like 17 years on and off. Because we'll go months without talking or whatever. But I'll be around people though, like even when I'll start dating someone or seeing someone, I'm like, even friendship wise, like, and I'll be around them for a few months and be like, you've given me more respect and wanted to spend more time with me and just been more courteous than that girl's been in fucking years.
Preach.
And it's nice to have that because then you see like how a healthy relationship is, and not just like one where someone just has you on their hook and they want some vindication of what they're doing with their life. So that's actually a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you bring me up to the point that I wish you guys the second time I said this episode, I wish you guys could have seen me. I'm over here like stewing. Here's the big thing.
I just want to say right off the bat, like the person I've been talking to, hanging out with, like they're fucking amazing, and I get a lot out of the relationship, and I get really tongue tied with it. But,
yeah. Well, here's the question
and I can't really say what I want to say right now.
I know you can't.
I'm a few beers in too.
I know you can't. But here's the big thing that I kind of want to preface this and kind of get an idea of like a talking point. When you start pining over somebody, how detrimental it is. Because you can't.
It really is.
You can't.
We've both been there, man.
Dude, I'm there. Fucking
you talk
right
about
now.
this girl, right, or this girl in the past, or a friend of mine, and you. I know. You told me about a few. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, it's fine, man. Oh well, I was asking you to like throw off what I was saying. You know, like when you start pining over somebody, it's not good for you, man.
No,
it's not good for you.
It kind of consumes you a little bit.
Dude, you came over today and you could see where my mindset was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the big thing is like in relationships, it needs to be mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
It needs to be, like there's no such thing as a 50-50 relationship.
True.
But there's nothing wrong with trying for it.
No, and honestly, that's the best you can hope for is that 50-50 or that like the trying for a 50-50 relationship. When you can have someone that like challenges you to be better.
Yeah.
Or like they'll point out little things about you that like oh, you say this or that like at a time.
Well, I'm a dark.
I'm like, God damn it! Like, how'd you call? Like, you called me out on that. Like,
well, I'm a dark motherfucker.
Yeah.
And the chick I've been giving my energy to lately is dark too.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's not healthy.
No.
You get what I'm saying?
No.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you do have to have a medium ground.
Yeah.
Of like what's healthy and what you click on. Cause
you have to have balance.
Yeah.
You do have to have some kind of balance where it's like they're getting something out of being around you, and you're getting something around them, and it's not just like, oh well, they're just making themselves feel better, and I feel like crap afterwards.
Right.
If that's the case, it's like that's not healthy in the least bit.
Well, like one of the things, I'm really trying to get super specific.
Yeah. Well, I think we're both being that way right now.
But we're putting it out there right now. Like last night, I was at the vet with this girl that has my heart right now. Put it that way. And I sat with her till 3 a.m, and because her dog fucked himself up, and the whole entire time, because she's just a woman that is I got to get away from this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She what I'm getting at was there was a bad situation. This girl doesn't like physical contact, and all I wanted to do was put my arm around her.
Yeah.
And that was not okay. And I spent 3 hours just...
There's a point when it comes to like you're respecting them and their boundaries. And that's fine. That's totally fine because there are plenty of people like for instance like PDAs, public displays of affection. Though. I don't like seeing that shit, and I don't like doing that.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. Like, say you're with a family member and their dog is in the hospital and needs help. Wouldn't you want to put your arm around them?
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's what I dealt with for about 3 hours. I literally had to like twiddle my thumbs and sit there and just like look at the ceiling, like. And then look over and see this girl that's my girlfriend. And
you can't even touch her.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Because you feel like you'll offend her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she respectfully asked me for space.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah, you try to, I mean, you do need to give people their space.
Yeah.
There's, I do that.
Yeah.
Somebody, if somebody I'm around asks me to do something, I'm like, okay, like I'll respect that.
Yeah. Well, all I wanted to do was make her feel better.
Yeah.
But, for me, I'm a very physical, affectionate person. For me, that would have made the difference. For her, that's not how she's wired. So it was a very, very interesting.
Yeah, and the thought like selfishness came over me for a second. I'm like, that's not selfish. Like,
No.
Like you want to comfort her. It's like make her feel better.
Well, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
I wouldn't have sat there with her till 3 in the morning.
You want to make yourself feel a little bit better, of course, but you at the same time, you feel like if you give them some contact, the physical contact, it'll make them feel better.
That's what I was wanting to do.
What's going on? But you said, but like you're saying is like, that's just not.
It's not the way her brain's put together.
Yeah.
But whatever. But that's what I experienced last night, and like that's when you really think about why we want to be in relationships, why we want to have relationships with people, it's human contact, which is going back to what
understanding too.
Yeah.
We want someone to recognize us for us.
Yeah.
And be able
to
accept you for who you are. And it's like I'll be around, I've probably been like only honestly probably like a couple relationships where it's been like I can like say something stupid to them and not have to worry about like them not like getting like texting me back the next time. It's like,
you're a douchebag. Yeah.
Like you did something dumb, and but then when you meet that person and you're like you did something dumb the night before, you said something dumb, and you can just text them the next day or call them and be like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Like yeah, you're good.
Well, it's so rare,
and it's nice to like have that kind of.
Well, it's rare
because that's always like a big fear to me. Like. And it's still to this day, like I could honestly probably be dating someone for 6 months or a year, even though I honestly have never dated anyone for even 6 months. But that would always still be in the back of my mind where I could say something. I would just say like something stupid, and not even something like really fucked up, like calling them a cunt or something.
Fucking cunt.
But just saying one thing that was dumb and having them be like, I don't want, like, just completely like ghosting me and be like, I'm not ever like you, like, I can't believe you did that. Like, I'm done.
Well, like, it's
or said that one stupid thing, but it's like, but I'm sorry, like,
no, keep going.
To finish my thought is like, it's nice when you meet someone who you can do that one stupid thing with, and then it'll just kind of like, the next day they'll be like, oh, it's cool, you know, like it's like it like that didn't bother me. It's like, hey, I knew you were this way or that way, or it's like you like they kind of just accept that was what you did at the time, and like that's who you are, but they still love you for it.
Exactly. Well, and, like, and that's kind of where I throw in.
It's nice to have that,
dude.
It's nice to be around that kind of person, to where like you can be a fucking idiot. And the next day, they'll still be like, I still like you.
Whatever.
You're still cool.
Well,
but then at the same time, that person will be that way with you. Like, they'll do something stupid.
And you have to
or
accept
say something
that.
dumb. But at the same time, you'll still be like, I don't fucking care. I still love them for who they are.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny that you bring that up because, like, going back to the same person I'm talking about, our very first date, she came. We went and had sushi, and we came back here, and we bought a bottle of vodka, and I fucking passed out.
Yeah.
Passed out. And then she told me the next day, "Oh, that was cute."
Yeah, that's happened to me where I've been in bed with a girl, and like, and then all of a sudden I'll like just pass out, and then the next morning they're like, "Yeah, you passed out." Like I was like, "Oh shit, I did." It's like, how long before you fell asleep? It's like, oh, it was like a half an hour. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's like, it's okay.
Well, then, so to continue on our topic.
But the same thing's happened to me with some women, where like they fall asleep, and I'm like, okay, I guess I got to try to fall asleep now.
Right. Well, to continue on our topic, just kind of piggyback on what we've been going with. I'm gonna actually talk about like the physical part of it.
Okay.
Like, I gotta stop pulling on my own experiences.
Yeah, but that's the way. That's how things work, man.
So, in my experience, what I'm going through right now,
This show's always therapy, isn't it?
It is. Dude.
It's like, I always say it's like therapy, and it's like a diary.
Yeah.
This show totally is. It really is.
Dude, give me one.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is.
Don't fucking touch me, bro.
Because this show is just a little fist bump. That was pretty good, though, man.
But like the big thing with
yeah, we do this show for us. I just wanted to say.
Yeah. Like the big thing for me is like I've been where I'm at. I'm just gonna put it this way. I've been where I'm at right now for a little over 2 months, and all of the physical contact I've had is a little pecs. You know, and we've been intimate, but yeah, whatever. But you get what I'm saying, like.
I don't think necessarily physical contact defines a relationship. Though.
No, but like,
I mean, yeah, that's like, that's when you have the most fun, of course. But I don't think it should define the relationship necessarily.
Yeah. Well, where I'm getting at, this is my long like loop. Like what I'm getting at, is like when your physical attraction to somebody skews your thinking. Like it
just kind of messes you up.
Yeah,
to where you'll do things or say things you wouldn't normally say.
You start thinking with your dick other than your head, and that can fuck you up, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That can fuck you up.
You're like, I know I shouldn't be saying this or doing this right now, but I'm like, I kind of want to get laid.
Right. There's nothing more powerful to a dude than a beautiful naked lady.
That's true. I agree with that.
There's nothing more nothing more persuasive.
But I don't think, at the same time, I don't think I'll compromise myself.
Dude, okay. Who is the most physically beautiful woman you've ever seen?
Honestly, the first the one that obviously comes to mind is like Angelina Jolie.
There you go.
But even then, I don't know if I'd just like go with her.
Well, here's the thing. She was standing in front of you naked and said, "Let's go." What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. See, that's the male brain, man. That's the male brain. Like, but then again, you have to.
Hello, women out there who do the same thing though. Well, Angelina Jolie, like, yeah, I'm going to town on that.
You know who mine is right now?
What?
I don't know her name. It's the. Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Ingrid. I don't know what her name is, man. But
is that like Sam's girl or
no? It's John's girl.
The redhead. They're actually a couple in real life.
They got married. Dude.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a hot little redhead.
Yeah, she's a smoke show. Fucking dime piece.
So where were we? Anyway?
I don't know, man.
So should we go into more like personal relationships?
Well, yeah, we might as well.
We kind of covered the.
Yeah, we might as well.
Hopefully, we didn't say a bunch of really bad shit we're gonna regret later.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
What is one of the most beneficial and most detrimental that you've been involved with? That's a good question. It's a good question.
You know what? The two that come to my mind off the bat was the best relationship I have, or I could say I have, even though I really don't talk to her very often, is my grandmother.
Okay.
I have an amazing relationship with my grandmother, even though I really haven't had a good conversation with her in quite a while.
Yeah.
Because we just live so far apart, but I just never try to actually call her. And then the worst is probably my mother. And we covered this pretty well in the last episode about toxic relationships. Yeah. Because I think when it comes to like the relationship I have with my grandmother, it's kind of like I can tell her anything and she's accepting and she'll try to help me out, give me a little advice. But she doesn't push anything on me.
That's good.
And she's just a really good friend. And when it comes to my mother, she's just very judgmental and bitchy and all about herself, and I don't like that.
right. I don't like. I wish.
I don't like that.
Again, a third time. I wish you guys could have seen Nick's face. I don't like that.
But that's the two I got. Is like that's the worst and the best.
So
it's kind of funny. Well, yeah, they're both family members, but I honestly, like my grandmother is like the best person I ever met.
So for me, my
grandma's a shit, man.
Yeah,
I'll totally say that. My grandmother's a total shit.
So for me, like the best relationship I've ever had in my life would probably be my dad. It's detrimental in a lot of ways.
I did have a really good relationship with my dad. I mean, yeah, it was like kind of like up and down, of course, when I was younger, but it was just him being a parent. But before he died, we actually had a really good relationship. We got along really well.
Yeah.
But honestly, of like me, my brother, my sister, like me and him got along the best. And I was probably his favorite because he always loved I'd come over. It's like, you don't ask me for anything, you just want to hang out with me. I was like, yeah, I don't want anything from you. Like I take care of myself. I'm not asking you for money or shit. It's like, yeah, your brother or your sister come over, they just want fucking money.
That's good.
But I did have a really good relationship with my dad before he died. So
well, and if I had to get into my worst relationship, the big thing is I don't want to rehash that. That would make my brain go back there.
Yeah, you've had a lot of bad ones.
Dude, what's the problem with my track record, dude?
You just met a lot of shitty women.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Not all. I mean, I'm sure not all of them were shitty.
Yeah.
But
well, I've had one or two that were.
I'm sure there were a few that you just probably fucked up because of you. But
yeah, exactly.
But and I could probably say the same thing. I think everybody
legit. It's never been them.
Yeah.
Legit.
Oh, I know. Again, back to the toxic relationship part.
Yeah, it's never been them. Like one of the big things, like going back to our last episode, is like the big thing for me is I shut myself down. I'm either a fucking robot or I'm out of control, and like that's the big thing.
Well, that's one thing too. But when you start a new romantic relationship with someone, is you always have that little honeymoon phase. Where you two just kind of like are just like super into each other and want to see each other like every day.
Well, and here's the thing is
they're super horny and just want to fuck.
Well, and here's the thing, and that's where I should be with the present person in my life, but that's not.
It's not the case.
That's not a possibility. So,
yeah, I always find it weird when I'm around people who they're in a relationship and then like like they've been around each other for like 2 months and they're still like in that honeymoon phase. I'm like.
Makes you jealous, dude.
Yeah, it does. Like, how the hell did you still have this?
Well, like, okay, I'm gonna make a Game of Thrones reference here because I've been watching it. Like, my big thing is I saw a meme that just like hit me, and it was like, you know what? I want a relation. I want a girl that looks at me the way that Ingrid looks at fucking Jon Snow.
No, I like that.
Yeah, like that's like I don't know if you remember the.
That's what we're all looking for. Right?
Yes. Like, I don't know if you remember, like,
And she would insult the fuck out of him, too. Like, dude, nothing, Jon Snow.
Fuck yeah. She's a
but
gangster.
You know what? She got that back and forth and be like, you know what? She's going to point out his shit. And you know what? He's going to listen to her and respect her for what he's saying. But you know, at the same time, he's going to point out her shit. And she's going to be like, yeah, you're kind of right.
Well,
that's a good relationship because I mean, one thing I always refer to with my grandparents, actually, for instance. And I remember talking to them about one time. It was like they said they never had a big fight their entire life.
That's good.
They're in their like mid 70s by now, married for probably 50 years, or over 50 years easily. Never had a big fight their entire marriage. My grandfather told me this.
That's good. Man.
I was like, he's like, I don't remember us having like a like fighting at all. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
That's so rare.
And I remember I asked my grandmother once about like, what's the secret to marriage? She's like, 2 things, like space and compromise. That's it.
Yeah.
You give somebody the space
and compromise.
You give somebody the space to grow.
Say it with me. Space and compromise.
Yeah, you give someone the freedom to be who they want to be, and don't ever suffocate them and say you can't do anything. You know, like say for instance, like you're with someone and like they want to go out, you know, drinking with their friends. Fucking go. Do it.
No reason to be
Don't
insecure.
don't ever say like they can't do anything, because that's when people feel confined and want to get out. And then compromise is just like, you know, you're in a situation like, hey, let's do this. Like, no, I want to go do this. Like, well, why don't we just go and, you know, let's compromise on
Meet in the middle.
Or like, hey, I want to move here. It's like, well, what's someplace we both like?
Yeah.
You know, it's just that's the two things. If you can just give each other space and compromise on things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna do, like, I'll do the dishes, but you have to do the
You
yard
gotta
work.
cook.
You gotta cook.
Yeah.
No, honestly, that's an easy. That's one thing right there.
Yeah. I'll cook, but you gotta.
But if it's when people get demanding, it's like you need to do this or you need to do that.
Yeah.
That things get all fucked up.
And that's kind of where you get this weird human dichotomy. Is like we've all got different brains. We've all got different brains in the way that
You have to let people be who they want to be.
Yeah.
Because people don't, like, one question I remember writing down was like, can people change? Can you change people? And I mean,
Well,
I honestly don't ever want to try to change people.
You can't change somebody else.
No.
Like you just can't.
Well,
do
I
that.
mean, one thing that's happening in my life right now, like I told you about earlier, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with it, is I have a friend who's just kind of in a bad place right now. And after having conversations with a few people about her, I'm like, I realize I can't really, there's nothing I can really do.
Well, all you can
They
do,
have to want to change the way that they are right now. And
all you can do is be supportive.
that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And I totally believe that. That's like, all you can do is if they ask you to help them, you help them. But if they say they want their space, you need to give them their space.
Well, yeah.
You have to respect their boundaries, because if you try to cross over those and try to do something for them that they don't want you to do, they're going to completely try to just throw you out and be like, fuck off. I don't want to speak to you anymore. I don't want you around me. Like, have a nice life. And then you can't help them anymore. And even if you try to go back and be like, I want to help you, and they'll be like, no, I fucking told you to fuck off. Like, I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say.
Well, like I was talking to you earlier about a book that I actually sat down and read.
Yeah.
It's called Unfuck Yourself.
You were talking about it a little earlier.
Yeah, go check this out.
Yeah.
The big thing is expect nothing, accept everything. And the big thing is, like, within relationships, whether it's romantic, whether it's family, you can't change or mogrify anything that somebody wants to be or do. You can't, like, that's who they are.
Yeah.
You can't take it personal. You can't be upset if they don't reciprocate. Like, even if it's like
you can only offer advice when advice is wanted.
Yeah.
And you can only give help when help is wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's with a romantic or personal, family, just friendships, any relationship. If you can only offer what you can offer,
right,
when they want it.
Well, you have what you have to offer.
Yeah.
They have what they have to offer. It depends on what they want to accept or what you want to accept.
Yeah.
Like that.
I mean, when I like give advice to friends, I'm like, I'm never trying to push anything on anybody.
Right.
I try to give, like, hey, maybe this would help you if you went to you did this. But I never really like, you need to do this.
Well, you never tell anybody.
No, I never tell anybody anything.
You don't tell anybody you need.
It's like, and this is probably the third episode where I'm going to bring this up. And it's funny. I keep remembering this. It was like when Kevin Hart talked about when he talked about his kids.
On
like,
on
Rogan, and he said, I don't yell at my kids.
Talk
and
to them like they're adults.
And he's like, he's like, I talk to them like they're adults, because if I yell at them, nothing is ever going to get through. And honestly, it's a good metaphor. And I want to say, that it would be a metaphor for like how you treat everybody. If you yell at someone or try to give that advice that they don't want, they're never going to listen to you.
There you go. Well, in response to what you're saying, the big thing is, like, I've had issues with relationships before because I refuse to argue. Because when you argue, all you're doing is waiting for your chance to talk.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, that's like when somebody, like, if you're arguing and it's going back and forth, all you're doing is shutting down and not listening. Yeah. And just waiting for your chance to fucking give your point.
Yeah.
To give
it's just a debate.
Yeah, it's when it's not a healthy debate.
Well, I mean, we honestly on this show we debate.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do.
Because we kind of disagree at times
but
on stuff.
But we also...
But it's a back and forth on our feelings, and it's a healthy debate because we actually listen to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but like whether it's like a family member or a lover, romantic, whatever, if you are arguing, all you're doing is waiting for your chance to talk.
Yeah,
that's fair to
no,
say,
it's
right?
true.
Yeah, because like you've already made your point in your mind. You've already in your mind. You already know what you want to say. You already have made the decision.
And you build this stuff up in your head too. You wait for it. Like you're like, oh, if this comes up, I'm gonna totally say this.
Here's my attack on
yeah,
this.
it's like when you're at work and you have a confrontation with someone, and like you just build that in your head for a while.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if this happens again, I'm gonna say this.
Oh, this is my attack at this point.
Yeah.
Like this is my attack. Like if this.
Of course, they usually never happen. Like what you got put in your head and what you.
Well, it never comes out the way that you formulate it. But
that's what we haven't brought up though, is like work relationships.
Work relationships are like, oh, dude.
I always try to keep my life, my regular everyday life, separate from my work life. But then you have other people who like that's their life, is like they're like the people they work with like end up being their friends outside of the job, and I'm like,
well, here we are.
I've never
here
been.
We are.
Well, yeah. That kind of worked out that way. But
yeah.
You do meet that occasional person. Like I usually like each job I meet like one person I'll hang out with outside of that job.
Well, the big thing that I've been experiencing lately is in my work, there's people that feel like if I'm going to use the American phrase, throw shade at somebody, it's going to give you a fucking raise.
Yeah.
Like if you try to get somebody else in trouble, it's going to give you a raise. It's like, dude, we gotta fucking work together. We gotta work. Like,
whoo. Sorry, I had to make a bunch of noise there.
hold on.
No, stop. Go. Sorry, we had to get a little comical for a second.
But it's in work relationships, it's kind of a shame when somebody tries to bring somebody else down to bring themselves up. And you see that a lot. Especially in the restaurant.
Well, no, you see that just in relationships in general. People, they try to put you down. Well, actually, no, that the best way to put it is bullies. They put you down so they can bring themselves up.
Yeah,
and make themselves feel better. So that's actually more of a bullying thing than anything.
It really, dude, absolutely. Like it's when somebody.
And there are people who are bullied in relationships. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing is that there's a lot of people out there that feel like they've been beaten down, and the only way that they can bring themselves up is to take other people down.
No,
like, you get what I'm saying?
No, completely.
Like that's the only way that you can, or in this scenario, these people can bring themselves up, is to take somebody else down. They try to elevate themselves and lower somebody else.
Well, just look at unfortunately like domestic abuse.
Yes,
dude.
Yes, that's the roughest.
And not only like, I say domestic abuse, and of course I'm referring to physical.
Yeah.
But then you have a lot of emotional domestic abuse.
Yes.
I don't even know that's a real.
Well, dude,
it is a real thing, but it's not something you would.
Well,
you wouldn't put somebody in jail for.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
I've been studying psychology, and this is a thing. Psychological abuse is a very big thing. Very, very big thing. Like that's where you can get into like Stockholm Syndrome, and like that's where that's a broad term for what I'm getting at right now. Like Stockholm Syndrome is okay. So say you're in a bad scenario, and you start actually having a positive emotion for the person that is beating you down.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And that is a very hard thing to break. Like there's a lot of people that go through that, and like it's a thing that it takes years and years and years of therapy to break.
Oh yeah.
Like so.
Well, it's like the woman who's being abused by her husband. Is she will be for a long time. She's like, no, I deserved it. I fucked up, and he actually that's a good way to think, or a good little way to go too. Is like when you talk about being emotionally abused. Oh, I deserve this. I treated them badly, or I treat them badly by something I do or something I say.
I need to say this before we keep going. You don't ever deserve it.
No, but I'm not saying that they do.
No, but that's what I've been reading.
Yeah.
You don't ever deserve it.
No.
There's the biggest, most documented Stockholm Syndrome is kidnappees.
Oh yeah.
Like they get kidnapped and spend whatever amount of time, but they end up.
Well, you look at the Manson family.
There you go.
They weren't kidnappees, but
It was Stockholm.
yeah. Well, you look at cult members too. Actually, that's a good way to put it too.
Yeah.
Is cults.
Yeah.
They kind of get
Jim Jones and
in a
all
way
those
they get
fuckers.
that Stockholm Syndrome.
Well, it's like you.
Or you look at the more. Like, I keep going off examples.
But
like,
you're right though.
Like the Mormon ones where they have like the polygamist sects of Mormonism, and you see that happen too.
Yeah. Well, like you brought up a good point. Like you think about cults. It's like these people. You know, like, I'll just highlight Jonestown. These people. There was a lot that tried to escape and whatever, but there was a lot of people that like thought that he was the Messiah.
You want to explain what Jonestown is a little bit?
Okay.
Just give the basics.
Yeah, I'll just give you the quick. Okay, so Jim Jones was a cult leader that ended
in the
up
70s,
in
right?
the 70s, and he took people into ended up in South America, and they created Jonestown. And dude, oh my God, there's just so much. Like he basically Stockholmed all these people into like, if you leave, you're gonna die because I won't be here anymore. You know, like so, and then the Kool-Aid happened. You know, so
Well, it's referred to as the Brian Jonestown Massacre, I think.
Yeah. And a stupid little fucking factoid, it wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Flavor Aid, but whatever.
What?
Yeah.
Flavor Aid?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah, it was Flavor Aid, it wasn't Kool-Aid.
Do they even still make Flavor Aid?
Yeah.
They do? Those who don't know, Flavor Aid is the generic Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but
you don't know, you're not poor until you drink some Flavor Aid.
to continue on our subject, I'm just keeping on point. Like, okay, so we're talking about relationships. Jim Jones made these people believe that they wouldn't have an existence without him.
Did he like have sex with a lot of them too?
A lot of incest and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, like when it was time to drink the Flavor Aid, he actually forced 900 people to do this. And, you know, like so.
Did he force them, or did he just?
No, at gunpoint.
He forced them at gunpoint to drink it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how we got here on talking about relationships.
No, because we went into Stockholm Syndrome and kidnapping and all that, domestic abuse.
Yeah, so like the big thing.
We've got a lot.
Well, that's what you get when you sit down with me.
Yeah, I know. That's why I enjoy our conversations, man.
But like the big thing. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of wrap up Jonestown with what we're talking about. So a lot of these people made a relationship with him like, this is how we are happy. This is how we are happy. And all these people believed. So they were like, this is how we are happy. So we'll drink the Flavor Aid. Yeah. That's how we are happy. So kind of like keeping it going, the big thing with like relationships is like, in your mind is like how you are happy. Like what makes you happy? You get what I'm saying?
And who makes you happy?
I mean, yeah, exactly. And you have to really in your mind decide if this makes you happy or is it's destructive.
And well, you have to decide if that person you're with is making you happy at all.
Or are you trying to fix them to make you happy?
Ooh, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like if they're not 100% what you want, and then you kind of feel like in the long run, like,
you should just get out now.
Yeah,
you should recognize that at the moment and be like,
I'm trying not to be too personal right now.
I know, but no, I've probably been that way too. Like I think I remember I dated one girl for like 4 months, and she treated me like crap.
Yeah, but you felt
crap. Really, but I kind of say because she was really good in bed. But I realized later on, like I realized down the line, like I knew for a while, like this girl like treats me like shit.
But
even her friends were like, he treats you really well, and you're treating him like crap. But she always was suspicious of everything.
You had it in the back of your mind that eventually it would be okay.
And one day I was on the phone with her, and she was just bitching at me for something, and I was just like, I'm done. And she was like, fuck you. And I'm like,
oh, that's rough, man. That's rough.
I saw her a few months later, but
the big thing for me is like, okay, on the main core of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot fix somebody. You cannot change who they are.
True.
Expect nothing and accept everything. You know, like that's all there is to it. You know, like you cannot make somebody. I'm on.
Would you want to though?
what's what I'm fucking trying to deal with myself right now.
Well, I mean, if you were with someone and you wanted to change them, would you really want to change them?
If you want to change,
if you had the ability to change someone into like what you wanted, would you do it?
If you want to change somebody into what you wanted, you're already down the wrong path.
Yes.
You're
I agree with that.
You're already down the wrong path.
Because I feel like I always say like when it comes to people, if I know someone and there's something about them I want to change, unless I always say like unless they're like doing something really fucked with their lives, like doing heroin or something, you need to accept someone for who they are. And if you want to change them, you shouldn't be with that person. Well, you shouldn't be in a relationship with that person or like friends with that person.
Yeah, like in this is like so out of left field.
Yeah.
But, everybody out there that listens to the show that knows that I'm a Buddhist. And the big thing is if you don't have compassion for yourself, your compassion is incomplete.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you need to have more love for yourself than anybody else. And it sounds selfish, but that's Buddhism.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody in your life that you feel like you need to change, it's a bad decision.
That's true.
If you have somebody in your life that you feel like you need to change, they're not going to change even if you put it in motion, they're not going to change to the 100% that you want.
Yeah.
You need to have love for yourself and compassion for yourself before anybody else.
And when you do see that friend spiraling, for instance, you just kind of have to be there for them if they want your help. But it does suck being in that situation,
dude.
Yeah, because I'm kind of in that right now, where I have a friend who's just kind of spiraling, and I really have a hard time with it because I'm like, what can I do to help them? And I'm like, I can't do anything unless they ask me. Yeah. I don't feel like I can, because I feel like if I tried to do anything, I feel like they would distance themselves from me even more,
which is painful.
Which I don't want to happen.
Which is painful, we're talking about the same person, and I've been cut off, which sucks.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is like I'm keep going back to these like Buddhist quotes because I feel like
that's fine, man.
I feel like they were here right now.
If they apply, go for it.
I feel like we're here like right now. It's like the big thing is compassion. You have to have for yourself more than anybody else.
Yeah.
You have to. Otherwise, what are you doing? And the big thing is the quote that's in my mind right now is if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
It's true.
Yeah, that's if you can't love yourself, what are you doing? Yeah. That's where people get into. Oh, I need to change myself for this person. I need to change myself to be happy. You get what I'm saying?
So to get back to the original question of what is the point of being in a relationship? If you just could explain that and
I got that.
Just explain it like within a minute,
Yeah. So here's my idea. The point of being in a relationship is we all are compelled for it.
True.
We are genetically wired for it. We are genetically wired to want to be with somebody else, to have a companionship. Think about it. If it was the zombie apocalypse, wouldn't you want your woman right next to you?
Definitely.
See what I'm saying?
And I mean, even when you see those movies or shows, people still, or even those scenarios where there's a small population, there are still people that just kind of gravitate to other people. Because they need that. They need that. They need someone in their lives that understands them.
Well, I think it's the best. I think it's the human condition to crave companionship.
Definitely.
That's the way we are wired. We are in the shit that I've been studying. We are binary creatures. We do not. Think about it. Okay. Let me just throw this out there real quick. Think about the nomad, the solo, human being that has never tried to have an interaction with anybody else. Not healthy.
True.
Not healthy. We are wired to pair up. We are wired to pair up, and that's just the long and the short of it. It just depends on whether it's healthy or not.
Well, you may we may be wired to pair up, but it's all about what point we are in our lives.
Yeah,
too.
well, yeah.
Because I've gone years without ever being with someone.
I'm going on.
Well, no, even physically and just what we would consider a relationship. I'll go years without one. But then I'll just meet someone and I'm I want to put some time into this.
Yep.
because I like this person.
Yeah.
And they actually seem to be worth my time.
Yeah, there you go.
And they actually like me for who I am.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
That's the big, like, you have to give your energy.
It's hard to find someone who accepts your faults. If you can find that one person who accepts you for you, faults and all, or at least what you consider to be faults of yours, that's when you know you met someone that is actually like worth it.
And that's so fucking rare.
It really is.
Yeah. Like, without getting specific, like the quote unquote relationship that I've been in for like the last month or so, it's been very detrimental.
Yeah.
And I don't, she doesn't listen to the podcast. I don't fucking care if she does. But it's been detrimental. It's brought me down. If you are in a relationship, it needs to bring you up.
That's true.
It needs to bring you up.
You need some. If the relationship you are in, or like a romantic or personal relationship, if it doesn't make your life better,
what's the point?
Yeah, you shouldn't be in that relationship.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have that relationship in your life.
You should be.
And I'm glad because I've gotten rid of those relationships that have been detrimental or
it's still hard to do. It's still hard to do.
It really is.
It's still hard to do.
I've gotten lucky because I've been able to have that ability to do that because I don't have a bunch of really fucked up family. Like I get along with my brother, I get along with my sister. I don't get along with my mom, but I got my mom out of my life, and then my dad's family, I get along with really well, even though I haven't really spoken to them in a while. But I know I can easily call them up and hang out. My mom's family, I don't talk to in the least, but I haven't talked to them in fucking years anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, you can count on them to talk to them at least.
Who?
You said your family. You're like what you were getting into.
My immediate, my brother, and my sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
I called my brother last night, and we just ended up talking for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. His like girlfriend was on the other line or on the phone too, and
nice. I don't have anybody like that.
Yeah.
Like that's most of my family lives in Ireland and like.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I talk to my brother at least like once a month, so we have
that's
that.
Good, and that's good.
So it's kind of nice. Like, cause I'll just call him up and bullshit. Because we're very much our father's sons, and we're very like kind of just like men's men type things where we don't like share our feelings for the most part or anything like that.
Yeah,
we're just guys like that.
We're just dudes.
We're just dudes. God, I'm trying to think where.
Well, I think we had a solid conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if I got any more I can add to this one.
I think we did good, man. Thank you guys.
This was our rant for the day.
We did 47 minutes.
Man, we did the last one. It was like almost an hour too.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, thank you. So what is this? This has been question 22.
Is it?
Yeah, this has been question 22. And what is the point of being in a relationship? And I don't know. I kind of say like a point of being in a relationship is definitely companionship, but definitely understanding and happiness.
And what makes you happy?
Yeah.
Be
and just a support, like someone who supports you.
Be something
for who you are.
Be something positive. Yeah. If you decide to be somebody else's counterpart, be something positive.
Definitely. And as always, I encourage people to like to get with a friend or a family member and just like talk, like ask the same question to them. If anything, you're gonna have a good conversation with the person.
Yeah.
Or they might be like, why the fuck are you asking me this question? But maybe who is it? Who doesn't I'm snapping. 90s Nostalgics.
Oh, Ronnie,
I can't believe I forgot Ronnie's name.
Ronnie, yeah.
Ronnie and Sarah, right?
Yeah, you guys keep it going.
I'm sorry, Ronnie. I can't believe it.
Sarah Bears shout out.
I can't believe I forgot his name after all the time.
It's been like almost 2 months.
Also, I'm like 4 beers in. So.
Yeah, there we go.
So shout out Ronnie.
We love you guys.
We do love you guys. Yeah. Fucking keep putting that shit out, man.
Yeah. Good awesome. Work, by the way, actually.
Yeah. And if you haven't heard them, check them out.
Yeah, shout out. Well, we can put a tag for them.
Yeah.
I think we
I don't know.
I think we can.
We'll see what happens.
We'll try. But thank you guys for listening, and it's
I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah,
and I think next one we put out will not be a month later.
Well,
we'll probably try to get something out in the next couple of weeks.
Nerdy Bones will hit the air again sometime soon, guys.
Yeah.
Just bear with us.
Yeah.
Legit. We've had some legit time for research.
We have.
So
We've got a lot going on just personally.
Both of us, man. And then Rufus the Villain. Oh, this next week is True Crime Corner.
Oh, you're doing that?
DB Cooper.
I'm waiting. I've been waiting for it, man.
DB Cooper.
Fuck yeah.
We're doing DB Cooper, and which like both Josh and I have read the same book. It's gonna be so great.
Oh fuck yeah.
And the one Did I tell you who we're doing after DB Cooper?
No.
Richard Ramirez.
Oh, you've been wanting to do him for a while.
Yep.
Your definition of evil, which
That's my
goes back to
definition of
like
evil.
I think the first episode of Philosophical Bones.
What's the definition of evil?
And yours was Richard Ramirez.
Yep.
So if you want to hear that, check that out.
Yeah.
You know, we got a self plug, man.
Yeah, well, we got to do that every now and then.
Yeah, we got a self.
But like, I got a book. I got a book called The Son of the Devil, which is it's a book about
him.
Yeah.
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be good, man.
Yeah, we actually we got a little bit of true crime in here.
That's
tonight.
right.
With the Brian Jonestown massacre.
That's me, dude.
Yeah, I know. This was a fun one though.
Well, dude.
Episode.
Again, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Hopefully, you're still here.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, but
the true fans are
look
here.
forward to question 23. We have no idea what that will be yet, and if you want to make a suggestion, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram,
nerdybonescast@gmail.com.
Yeah, just hit us up.
Oh, next week I'm gonna be recording with Confessionals podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna be asking if I can post it for us.
Yeah.
He might not let me do that.
Yeah.
But
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I want to mention again to give shout out to Jen for posing this question. Actually,
yeah.
My good friend Jen, for what is the point of being in a relationship? So I hope you enjoyed and keep thinking.